The skin-cutting cold wind sweeps through the gloomy streets of Washington, D.C., carrying the harsh breath of winter. Dry leaves crunch under the feet of passers-by, like whispers of a city that never sleeps. James Harper huddles in a tattered coat, his hands trembling from the bone-chilling cold. He sits motionless on a rotting wooden bench in Lafayette Park, eyes fixed on the distant White House, a majestic symbol of power that, to him, feels like an unattainable dream. Once a soldier who braved the battlefield, James is now a ghost, adrift in life, forgotten by a society he sacrificed everything for. Just a year ago, James commanded a logistics team in Afghanistan, ensuring every gun, every ration box reached its destination on time to keep his comrades alive. He made life-and-death decisions amid the smoke and fire of war. But now, his job applications earn nothing but cold rejections. Not a fit, lacking practical skills. We need someone else. Each denial slices into his pride, a reminder that his years of service hold no value in the world of office desks. 3 days ago, an eviction notice was taped to the door of his rundown apartment. His savings are gone, his phone silent, and no opportunities in sight. He once faced enemies on the battlefield, but this invisible war, against a system's indifference, is one he can't fight alone. Last night, in the dim glow of an old TV, James caught sight of her. Karoline Levit, White House press secretary, on national airwaves. With sharp confidence, she stood behind the podium, speaking of jobs, economic reform, and promises for the American people. James barely listened to the words, only registering the pride in her voice, something he once had before life crushed him. Then, a thought struck like lightning. If no one would hear him, he'd make them listen. A wild, risky plan formed in his mind. To storm her press conference, stand before the cameras and shout, "I need a job." He knows the risks. Heavy security, the chance of being thrown out or even jailed. But for the first time in months of despair, his heart pounds with purpose. He stands, his breath turning to white vapor in the frigid air. Tomorrow, he'll face his fiercest battle yet. No guns, no visible enemies, but a gauntlet of invisible walls no less brutal. He has nothing left to lose. Washington buzzes the next morning like a disturbed hive. James Harper quietly approaches the hotel hosting the press conference, blending into the swarm of reporters, cameramen, and political staff rushing about. Security guards stand at every corner, their cold eyes scanning faces. James clutches his worn backpack, a mix of nerves and resolve weighing on his shoulders. He has no invitation, no press pass, no legitimate reason to enter. But he has something the crowd lacks, a burning need to be heard. At a side entrance, a group of local news reporters brushes past him, flashing their badges at the checkpoint. James takes a deep breath, straightens his posture, and mimics their confidence, a trait the military once drilled into him. He follows the group, head down, pretending to check his phone. The guard glances over, distracted by the cleared group ahead. But as James steps forward, a stern voice cuts through. "Press pass!" James turns slowly. A tall security guard, his face hardened by experience, eyes him with suspicion. His heart pounds, but his voice stays steady. "I don't have one." The man crosses his arms. "Then you're not getting in." James meets his gaze. "You were a soldier, weren't you?" The guard's expression shifts slightly. 10 years, Army," he replies, voice low. James stands taller. "Me too. I'm not here to cause trouble, I just need to tell her something." The guard frowns. "What are you planning?" "I'm not begging or chasing fame, I just want a chance." A tense silence stretches. Around them, the crowd buzzes on, oblivious. Finally, the guard sighs, stepping aside. "Back row, keep it low. I don't want regrets." James nods, gratitude surging. "Thank you." He slips inside, weaving through the crowd to the press room. If James's steps are tugging at your heart, help us spread his story. Like, share, and subscribe to join us in hitting our first 1,000 followers. Every action you take is a voice for people like James, silent warriors who need to be heard. The room is packed, reporters crammed together, cameras poised, laptops open and waiting. At the center, the podium glows under bright lights, the White House seal looming proudly behind it. Karoline Levit is about to take the stage. James clenches his fists, resolve hardening. He's made it inside, but the real challenge is just beginning. The air crackles with anticipation. Reporters whisper, adjust cameras, prep questions. James sits in the back, jaw tight, hands trembling under the table. This is his one shot. The double doors swing open and the room falls silent. Aides enter first, clearing the way. Then Karoline Levit, White House press secretary, strides in with unshakable confidence. She's not the president, but she's one of the administration's most powerful figures, able to shape policy, sway public opinion, and decide who gets seen or ignored. She steps to the podium, heels clicking decisively. Aides linger behind, scanning the room. James inhales deeply, heart thumping like a drum. This isn't war, but it feels no different. A new battlefield with stakes just as high. Karoline rests her hands on the podium, scanning the crowd. Good morning, let's begin. The first question from a Fox News reporter is about the economy. She answers smoothly, concisely. Another asks about international politics. She dodges controversy with veteran finesse. She owns the room completely. James waits, mouth dry, adrenaline surging. Nearly 40 minutes pass and an aide signals the end. It's now or never. As Karoline glances at her notes, James leaps up. Ms. Levit? The room freezes. All eyes snap to him. Shock ripples through the crowd. Who is he? No mic, no camera, no press badge. Karoline's gaze sharpens, but she doesn't flinch. She's sizing him up, calculating her response. James steps forward. I'm James Harper, served 10 years in Afghanistan. I need a job. Silence. Then chaos erupts. Reporters murmur, cameras swivel, security advances. Karoline raises a hand. Hold on. She locks eyes with him, voice calm. You're saying no one will hire you? James doesn't waver. They see veteran on my resume and assume I don't fit. Damaged, out of place in their world. Whispers spread. This isn't just politics anymore, it's personal. Karoline crosses her arms. And you want me to do what? James sidesteps the trap. I'm not asking for handouts, I want a fair shot like anyone else. The room shifts. Cameras roll, reporters scribble. Do you know what it's like to fight for your country and come home to no place? James presses on. To give everything and be told, you're worthless. Karoline hesitates, a flicker of thought crossing her face. But a voice interrupts. Are you seriously considering this? It's Olivia Grant, HR director of a major corporation, front row, pristine suit, blonde hair impeccable. Miss Levit, Olivia says, if you respond, you'll open a door you can't close. This sets a dangerous precedent. The real fight begins, not just for James, but for every forgotten veteran. Karoline glances at Olivia, then back to James. She could dismiss him, but she knows the bigger issue. Come up here, she says. The room gasps. James walks forward, past skeptical stares and flashing lights, standing beside Karoline. She looks at him, voice genuine. If I give you a chance, what will you do? James answers, I'll prove veterans aren't a burden. They're this country's greatest asset. Karoline nods. Then we start fixing it here. The room explodes. Reporters shout. Cameras zoom in. James knows his fight has only just begun. The air turns chaotic. Karoline keeps her eyes on James, realizing this moment wasn't in her script. She's always controlled the narrative, but now a veteran has changed it all. Olivia crosses her arms, her gaze icy. James stands firm, facing the doubt. Karoline says, You want a chance? What does that mean? James replies, A fair shot. No favors, no shortcuts. Karoline taps the podium. You think this country hasn't given veterans chances? On paper, sure, James says. But in reality, we're rejected from the start. They think we can't adapt. that we're liabilities instead of assets. Karoline asks, "So the private sector's failing veterans?" James shoots back, "The whole system's failing." Silence falls. Karoline says, "Then fix it." James asks, "How?" She replies, "Starting Monday, you'll work at the Veterans Affairs office. Prove it." James's journey is the story of thousands waiting for a chance. If you believe in change, like, share, and subscribe to help us hit our first 1,000 followers. Your voice can help veterans like him be seen. Olivia objects. "Miss Levit, this is reckless." Karoline counters. "Then why isn't the current process helping them?" Olivia falls silent. Karoline says, "Let them criticize. At least they'll pay attention." James speaks up. "I'm in." Karoline nods. "Monday you start." Questions erupt from the press, but she cuts through. "We honor veterans in uniform, but where are we when they need us?" "Support is action, not words. It starts with him," James adds. "This isn't just about me. It's every veteran left behind. We'll make them see our worth." Karoline wraps up. "Start watching." She steps away, leaving James with a new fight. Headlines flood in. Levit offers shocking job to veteran. Social media ignites, debates raging. Inside the White House, Karoline tracks the news. An aide reports, "Government officials aren't happy." She smirks. "Good." At home, James gets a message from Sarah Kim, a stranger and fellow veteran. "You did something that matters to us." He knows the real war is coming. Monday, James stands before the Veterans Affairs building, facing his future. He's no longer invisible. Inside, eyes follow him. Staff whisper, some waiting for him to fail. He approaches the reception desk, meeting a middle-aged woman. "I have an appointment with Olivia Grant." She replies, "Good luck." Olivia appears, icy. "Follow me." In the elevator, she says, "I don't want you here. This isn't a media stunt." James replies, "I'm not here to play." Olivia leads him to a small desk piled high with files. These are veteran claims ignored for years. He flips through. John Miles, Vietnam vet waiting 12 years. Emily Tran, PTSD claim denied, 5 years. He looks at Olivia. "This is proof the system's broken." She shrugs. "Good luck fixing it." James calls John Miles. The man's voice is weary. "You people usually ignore me," James says. "Not anymore." He listens, feeling the pain of being forgotten. He storms into Olivia's office. "Why are they left behind?" She replies, "You think you can change it?" James says, "I know I can." Olivia smirks. "Do it." That night, James gets a message from Karoline. "If you fight, I'll back you." He knows a bigger battle lies ahead. James isn't fighting alone. He needs us. Like, share, and subscribe to help us reach our first 1,000 followers, so this story isn't just a moment, but the start of bigger change. Together, we can make a difference.